Hi, welcome to the Spindle Saga podcast. I'm Jessica, your host, also known as Jessie Nareem on Ravelry and Instagram. And today is Friday, May 15th, not Monday. I was about to say it was Monday. Today is Friday, May 15th, 2015. It is also my younger sister's birthday, so happy birthday, Michelle. Anyways, this is a knitting and spinning podcast, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to show you guys is a shawl I've been working on. It's kind of a bandana shawl type thing. It's called the clincher. So hold on, I'm going to get it out. And I'm knitting it out of some hand spun. Sorry for the crinkling. I'm knitting it out of some 2 of by hand spun I did for their combo challenge. This is Wapa and Janice on Superwash Merino. And I am making my way across. It's a really easy pattern. I actually think I stopped in the middle of a repeat, so I'm gonna try to remember to fix that. While I was getting my hair done earlier, I was in the middle of a repeat when my ride came to pick me up. But anyways, so it's great for hand spun. It's textured, so it's not boring. You know, you're not just knitting. Not that knitting is boring, but it's not just, you know, stock knit or whatever. And it's an interesting shape. I'm really excited to see what it looks like. The end, I'm going to do an I-cord in the pattern. It shows it. It's an I-cord edge with some loops that you pull the thinner end. See, it's really thin. Thinner end through. And I'm going to do that out of this, which is that's my swatch I did. It's fishnets in the, it's like red Canada colorway or Canadian red colorway. So I'm looking forward to that. So this is going great. And the other thing I have to show you, even though it's the third thing I've been working on, this is my mascot, which I'm doing for the Shawlicious Cal in the Leets Knits group, which is Justina Lorikowska, I want to say. That's the wrong side. This is the right side. Okay, so I'm doing mascot out of Plucky. I'm using Plucky Feet in the Wintry Mix colorway and Plucky Oxford in the Silver Linings colorway. Those are my stripes, these stripes. And then it does a bunch of wedges. And so I finally got to a color. I only started it though. I kept messing up and I was really tired the other day. So I just added the green. Hold on, I'll show you what the green looks like. It is Plucky Primo Fingering in the Good Old Days colorway. And it looks really good with them. I'm going to do each wedge as a different color. So I'm going to do the green first. And I have a pink. It's in here too. I'll show you. For the second one, I only kicked up. Well, it was left over. Okay, well, here it is. Here's the pink. That's going to go next. So it is going really well. I'm really enjoying the fabric of this and how it's knitting up. And Oxford is 75% merino and 25% cashmere. And it is it's a woolen spun yarn, so it's kind of rough almost, but I've heard that when it blocks out really nicely. So I'm really looking forward to soaking this and blocking it out. I think with the cashmere it's gonna feel really, really nice. Okay. The other thing that I'm knitting on is packed. So I can't show it to you, but I'm knitting a sock. I'm knitting My Favorite Socks pattern by Voolenvine, Voolenvine. Sorry, Voolenvine. Voolenvine. Her name is Kristen. That's her first name. Search Kristen, and you will find it. But I'm knitting those socks. It's a gusset heel flap basic sock pattern. It's vanilla sock. And I'm on the foot actually because it's cuffed down. I'm on the foot already. And I cast that on for the Prairie Girls Mother's Day big palooza thing. But it is packed because I graduate tomorrow, which is so exciting. And today is kind of insane. But I really wanted to put a podcast together for you guys. So So it is packed. I can't show you. It is out of Kirby Werby, and I cannot tell you the colorway name. I'll have to pin it on it. I'll have to go look that up and add that to my show notes later. But it's like a sparkly yarn, and it's green, purple, and like a peach and a gray. And it's all variegated. It's not a striping colorway. Okay. So I'm doing that. And then, so exciting things. So I'm crazy with all the crafts. And I want to do Camp Leafy this summer because my mother and my sister are both doing it. My mom is knitting and sewing for it. They added sewing. My sister is sewing. I was like, you know what? I feel like sewing. So I got my fabric in the mail. This is also part of stash enhancements. For the prompt, you have to use 75% of the fabric you buy for it, which was supposed to be 4.5 yards. So it's 2 yards total. So I'm probably going to make a bag. Like I'm like 99% sure this is going to be a bag. Because I didn't get enough for a quilt. And it'll take me too long to make a quilt. Let's be real. I'm still making the same quilt that I've been making for like 3 months. But I got these fabrics. This one. There we go. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm in the zebras group. That's what we're called. That's what it said on my little note, at least. But I'm looking forward to that. And I have to do a traditional quilt block. So I'm probably going to do a 9 patch or a 4 patch. If that's a traditional quilt block, I don't know. I like the one that my mom just did in a quilt that she made for Nepal. She had some students that were from Nepal that are going back to Nepal because of the whole earthquake. And so she made a quilt and she gave it to them to take with them to give to somebody who needed it. And she did like, I should have shown it on the podcast. It's really pretty. She did like 4 squares and they sewed them together and that made a square. And she did a bunch of those. So I might do something like that. That would be kind of cute. We'll see. But anyways, I'm sorry, guys. This is going to be like the fastest podcast in the history of podcasts. Okay. Anyways. So here, I'll chatter for a half a second. My clincher is for the Around Your Neck Cowl in the Suburban Stitcher group. It's also with the Mustache Podcast. So if you are at all interested in hanging out and knitting a bunch of stuff, go join us. Over there, we're having a good old time going on. This weekend, I graduate from my master's degree. So we are driving there tonight after a wedding that we have to go to. And then I have to drop everybody off at an airport to go to a funeral. So it's like insane. The next 20 hours of my life. Actually, the 20 hours started like 3 hours ago. But I had this random 3-hour break. So anyway, sorry, I digress. Okay, so I got some cool stuff in the mail this week. Because of the Around Your Neck Cowl, and just because I wanted one, I wanted a bigger shawl bag, and I wanted one from the Suburban Stitcher, because if you do not have to use, hold on. You don't have to use any particular yarn or bags or stitch markers or anything for the Around Your Neck Cowl. You can just knit. Every 250 yards you knit, you get a point for. But if you do use one of their sponsors for the cowl, you get a point for that basically. So like if you use a Suburban, okay, that's a bad example. If you use a Freckled Whimsy bag, like Freckled Whimsy is one of the choices, and you take a whip photo, with your project in that bag, you get a point for it. You get 1 additional point. And if it's, a 500-yard shawl, you get 2 points for the 500 yards. And your yards compile. So like if you knit a 400-yard shawl and then a 350-yard shawl, that's 750 yards. You would get a point for every 250. So like you can add them together. But if you use Suburban Stitcher or Mustache yarn, So Suburban Stitcher bags or Mustache Yarn, you get like 2 points, I think. I don't know. You get more points if you use their stuff. And I have their stuff and I like buying it. So I was like, you know, I'll just buy yours. So Diane custom made me a bag. I do not believe she custom does bags very often. I think I was kind of like a test as well because she hadn't made this size before maybe. I don't know. She had asked me about like if I wanted a zipper or a drawstring or not. But this is my bag. It's awesome, right? I love it. And okay, so originally I thought this plaid was going on the inside. And I'm so glad it is on the outside because it is so pretty and it goes with the, I call them tulips, but they're not tulips. The flower looking deals, it goes with it so well. Well, so on the inside, she had this fabric that I loved because it's like ledger fabric. And it's got like sewing measurements on it and stuff. It's so cute. And so she put that in the cinder just for me. And she mailed it to me in a purple postal bag, and I totally was going to be a nerd and show it to you guys because purple is my favorite color and she knows that, and I just thought that was so cool that she did that. I've never ordered anything from her before, so she may just send everybody a purple bag, but I totally just was like, I'm just going to think you did it for me. So anyways, that's awesome. And then, so I got that fabric. That's pretty much it. So this week I had finals. And in order to stay awake long enough to study for most of these finals, I would watch a lot of podcasts. And so I learned about some new podcasts that I wanted to share with you guys. There is the Freakish Lemon podcast. I think he's got 3 episodes out. I think it's freakishlemon.com, but if you just search Freakish Lemon on Ravelry, even that's his name. And it links to his site, which has his podcast on it. He's also on YouTube, because I think that's the host that he uses like I do. But I recommend his podcast. Check it out. He also has an Etsy site with stitch markers, and he does like some nerdy kind of stitch markers, because I actually got some there. I have some on their way to me. They're the little Marvel sign. And I'm a big Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, in case you didn't know that. So there's that. And then I also I actually found out about his podcast on another podcast. So it's kind of ironic that it's all one big circle. But I like to watch the Yarngasm podcast with Vulenvine, who wrote the pattern of the socks that I'm knitting. Yes, I know, it's crazy. But if you go to vulenvine.com, even though I think that website is going away soon, so if you go to vulenvineyarns.com, there is a link to her podcast and to her Etsy shop. Even though her store is eventually just going to go, she has an Etsy shop, but everything is going to eventually migrate to that vulenvineyarns.com site, I believe. I don't know when. Go watch her podcast, find out. But both of those podcasts are really fun. I've enjoyed watching them, even like back episodes, because I just need something to keep myself awake. They're fun. They're good, you know, background noise too. And I also like the Minerva Turkey podcast. So I recommend those 3 if you need a good video podcast to go check out. Also, the Vulenvine girl, she sells yarn, and I ordered some, and it's not here yet, so I can't show you, but I had the most pleasant experience like working with her on Etsy. She did a trunk show at Gauge Intention, and then whatever leftover she had, she put online in her Etsy site on Monday. And I had never bought her stuff before, so I just saw a couple colors. I thought, you know, I'll snag those. And she emailed me because one of them had the wrong name attached to it, but it was totally fine because I wanted the color, not the name, so that was fine. Hold on. But 2 of the colors I really wanted from her, I guess, were not in that update, and so I asked her if she was having them available this Friday, and she did. And so she told me to let her know what bases I wanted, and she would hold them back. And so she totally did that. It was great. I don't know if she does that all the time for people. I think she does, because if you want a sweater quantity or if you need several skeins for a big project, she will make sure that she dyes you up a batch. Because, like, I think a batch is like 4 skeins. So she'll make sure that yours match. It's like, so if you want to knit a sweater out of her yarn kind of thing, that's something I think of that would take, you know, more than, you know, 2 skeins of yarn or whatever. So that was really cool. And she was really good at, you know, emailing me and stuff. And she set the listing up. So I thought that was really nice of her. So I recommend, you know, doing business with her. And we have, she has a group on Ravelry, and they're doing a mini skein swap. They've been doing it for like the last month, but if you're into those cozy memory blankets or barn raising quilt squares, you can go jump in. I just jumped in randomly, like 2 days ago, and when I get back from my insane day tomorrow, on Sunday, I'm gonna make a bunch of mini skeins to swap with my partner, because we're swapping. I think she had like 14, and I have tons of leftover indie dyed scraps that I need to swap with someone so I can get 14 more and actually start my barn raising quilt. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that's pretty much everything. Oh, the Mustache Podcast Group is doing their own mini skein swap as well. It's a little different than the way the Wool and Vine one is running. But if you go in there and read the stuff people have said, you can figure it out and join in if you want to. Also, we have a Ravelry group. It's called the Spindle Saga Podcast. That's all it's called. Or Spindle Saga Podcast. So come join us. Come join our group and come chat. It's been pretty quiet in there. So please tell me what you're knitting or crocheting or whatever, or spinning. I'd love to see what you're working on. Anyways, so this is really fast. But thank you so much for checking out the show, and have a fantastic weekend. Bye.